If you're in Europe, you probably thought that apart from Europe, only Africa and a part of South America is suffering from desertification, but China is also suffering as well. What is causing all of this, and how is China mitigating it? Hey there guys, what's happening and welcome back to our channel. Today, we'll look into what China officials discovered that terrifies the whole world. So stay tuned and let's get right into today's video. So before we move on, you should know some things about China. Firstly, did you know that one of the biggest deserts in the world is in China? Yes, the Gobi Desert, but that's not all. Some of the other major deserts of China include Taklamakan Desert, Gurban Desert, Mua Sandy Land, and Hanshan Dake Desert. Over 24.7% of Chinese land has been deserted already. Moreover, did you know that over 400 million people live on this land? China produces food for a fifth of the world's population, with only 7% of the world's arable land, as 65% of its cultures are situated in the dry region of northern and northwestern China. The Loess Plateau is part of this dry land region, an area of the size of France. Loess is a wind-blown sediment transported by wind from the Gobi Desert for millennia. The Loess Plateau is the cradle of Chinese civilization because the soils formed on the plateau are very fertile and easy to farm. But Loess soils are extremely prone to erosion by water and wind. Centuries of mismanagement resulted in degenerated land and in huge sediment loads in the Yellow River. It's estimated that more than 2/3 of the Loess Plateau region is affected by soil erosion. Let's take a look at the causes and effects of desertification in China and what the country is doing to halt it. Drivers of desertification in China. 800-mile or 4,506-kilometer border of northern China's encroaching desert, while also increasing the world's forest cover. The Great Green Wall is predicted to cost up to $8 billion, with a $1.2 billion oversight system of mapping and databases. This project was initiated with the goal that the trees would act as a barrier, a green wall as the name suggests, to combat desertification and absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Additionally, afforestation would help combat soil erosion and slow the pace of desertification. The ambitious project is due to be completed by 2050, by which time approximately 88 million acres of forest will have been planted. This year, it was reported that the project is running ahead of schedule, having already increased forest coverage in the zone from 5 to 3.5% of the 15% target. This is helped by an annual event on March 12th as the country celebrates Tree Planting Day, reminding people over 11 years to fulfill their legal duty to plant 3 saplings per year. According to the government, China is restoring between 40 and 70,000 square kilometers of desertified land, an area larger than Switzerland, every year by planting new and rejuvenating old forests. Jia Xiaoxia, the director of the National Bureau to Combat Desertification, stated that the province of Ningxia was the first in China to see a reversal in the volume of desert in 2007. Some critics have questioned the project, saying that the planted trees will consume large amounts of groundwater. Other methods have brought it on the bazaar, including blowing up sand dunes, airdropping seed storms, and erecting massive fences to prevent animals from eating threatened vegetation. Luke Nakaja, Executive Secretary of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, said that China's efforts provide 3 important lessons. First, that the restoration of even a severely degraded world is possible. Second, that the role of the government, creating the right policy incentives, is indispensable. And third is that we must think outside our traditional boxes regarding land stewardship, how we value, manage, and invest in it. The human cost. While the mitigation efforts have shown some success, a quarter of China's total territory, 2.6 million square kilometers, remains desertified. As the sand and its associated storms approach, many Chinese people are forced to leave their home regions. Ma, who asked to be identified by his surname only, is a farmer who moved from the north to Yinchuan in Ningxia province. He said, "In my hometown, it was impossible to grow any vegetations or any fruit because of the increase in the number of annual sandstorms. Here, conditions are much better, and I don't have to deal with such harsh living conditions." About 178,000 people have been relocated from grasslands and forests near Beijing and Tianjin as part of regional authorities' anti-desertification effort, and more than 67,000 square kilometers of forest have been planted in the region over the past 12 years, according to the state-run Xinhua news agency. The livelihoods and security of many people rest on the progress that global leaders make in tackling both climate change more widely and desertification as a specific issue. The impacts of desertification have clearly caught the attention of policymakers, but more must be done to make a meaningful impact. That's all for today's video. Make sure to share your views regarding today's video in the comments section below, and until next time, bye for now.